Hello, hi, it's Lori again at Woo Woo Wednesday, and I'm excited to be back today. It's a beautiful spring day out here in Southern California, and today what I wanted to talk about is it's really intense. So many people have a lot of anxiety, fearful anticipation. They just live in fear. It's probably one of the most diagnosable conditions in the United States that people have anxiety, fear, some people paranoia, etc. So I really wanted to talk about that. I mean, I've had some depression, anxiety, fear throughout my life, various things. And so I've done all kinds of reading on self-help books, meditation, about everything. But I feel as though I've really come across the number one tool so that I don't live constantly in anxiety, fear, or anticipation of something going wrong. And I'd really like to share it with you all today. So I got my glasses out and I got notes because I want to make sure I really give you guys really as much information as I can today. So forget the glasses. By the way, hey, happy April 18th. All right, so recently I was at an event and I had actually two women come up to me and ask me, so how do I stop obsessing about an old boyfriend? So I thought about it and I really wanted to give them some really concrete, you can say just don't do that, but really I feel like people can be more successful if they really have a tool. So I just wanted to talk about some ways that you may be familiar with, like commonly used suggestions that people may give you if you're experiencing this. Things like using herbs, soothing teas, homeopathy, chamomile, aromatherapy, hydrotherapy, warm baths, having a massage. Let's see. One of the things I like to do, I found really helpful, is I start the day off with like 3 uplifting songs. So while I'm getting ready, taking a shower, brushing my teeth, putting my makeup, etc., I might put on some nice music, and I usually have like a little playlist. I think you should make a little playlist of music that you like. Like maybe it's going to be Pharrell's like Happy, or it could be, I don't know, for me, sometimes it's like the Beatles, like Here Comes the Sun, or gosh, I'd love to hear some suggestions from all of you about what could be, I could add to my playlist on uplifting great songs. I'd love to hear some. But that's one of the ideas. Now, I also want to mention that I read a quote once from a monk, and this is just, I think it's so profound. He said, worrying is like praying for what you don't want. So think about that. Worrying is like praying for what you don't want. And I often think of that, and I think, okay, that's just because whatever we put out to the universe is what the universe is going to send back to us. So if we're constantly thinking about the worry, am I going to ever get married? Am I going to have children? Am I going to get this job? Am I going to get this house? All this worry is going out to the universe, but it's going to bring back the worry, not create the solution, if that makes sense. And that's what I've been learning about also. And some of you might be familiar with the teachings of Abraham or the law of attraction. I bet a lot of you are. But just for those who aren't, this is the phrase law of attraction was made kind of famous, I think, in this era by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And Esther is someone who channels, it's a group of 12 non-physical spirit guides that she has that give information to her, but also to everyone right now. And the premise is that what you give your attention to will increase. So as we were saying, like, what are you giving your attention to? Is it, am I going to be able to pay the bills? Oh my gosh, I'm so worried. Am I going to pay the bills? Well, what if, since I'm a midwife, I hear a lot of things like, oh my God, the worst thing in the world would be that I have to go to the hospital or I have to have a C-section. So if you're, think about it, like what really are you putting your attention on? Whatever you put your attention on is what's going to become bigger in your life. So what I've told folks, for example, about this like major worry about, oh my gosh, I really don't want to go to the hospital. I really don't want a C-section. If that's your focus and that's the vibration and energy that you're putting in and you are emanating, that is your universe will manifest it for you. So think about that for a moment. I'd love for you to just think about what is the percentage of time in a day that you think about something that would cause you worry or fear or feeling anxious? 5%, 25%, 75%, 95%? Think about it. Also, what's the percentage of time in a day that you think of happy thoughts or gratitude or feeling love or joy, laughter? Is it 100%, 75%, 25%, 1%? So just knowing that you are creating more of what you are focusing on. Oh, hey, Kristen. Thanks for joining. So think about that. Like, be honest with yourself. I mean, I'm saying, what percentage of the day are you contemplating something that causes you fear or anxiety? What's the percentage? What's the percentage of time that you contemplate thinking of something that brings you joy or love or even laughter? Maybe you're watching YouTube and comedy shows. That's putting out that vibe, that energy that you are wanting more of that. Thank you, universe. I want more of this. Happy, joy, laughter, that kind of thing. So really be honest with yourself. And there's no right answer. There's no public answer. You don't have to say it out loud to anyone else. But just think about it for yourself. And maybe you want to kind of make some changes, because the main thing is realizing is that if you want to have a different outcome, you have to change the recipe. So if you haven't tried this little tool that I'm talking about, and I've got lots more, my big number 1 is coming up. Think about it. Try this tool, but my number 1 is coming up. So I just wanted to say also, yeah, right. Some people are actually addicted to the familiar emotion of anxiety or fear. And you think, oh, that sounds kind of crazy. But what happens is, if that's what that's kind of like your baseline, that's what you're used to, then if the world gets boring and you're not feeling that level of what your baseline is, you will create intentionally or unintentionally a feeling that will be familiar again, which may be fear, anxiety, those kinds of things. Oops, let me just turn that off. And so think about that. I mean, now there's usually a payoff. So people might, for example, if someone was feeling bored and then they start bringing up they're looking for that familiar feeling of like, oh, if I'm not stressed out, I might not get things done. So maybe for them, it's a catalyst, it makes them get things done, or possibly they get a lot of attention from other people who, maybe they're feeling sympathetic to them. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that thing happened to you. And so it results in a lot of attention and feeling like a lot of love from other people. So you can see that there can be payoffs by having these feelings. Sometimes people aren't aware of it. So yeah, let's see. Now, this is another big important thing. Most of the things that we worry about never occur. So we've gone through all this like worry, stress, and the thing doesn't necessarily happen. It would be, you're dwelling on it all the time, but then this thing It doesn't mean that, let's say you're dwelling on, oh my gosh, is he going to leave me? That kind of thing. Is somebody going to leave me? He's going to break up with me, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't necessarily mean that that thing will occur, but what it's going to do is put out in the universe more opportunities to feel like that, fearful. It may be that something happens at work that made you feel fearful. So I want to give you an example of how this could manifest. So the thing is, if something happens that is stressful in your life, like you get a flat tire on the freeway or something, if it happens, you just pull over, you deal with it, and you go on. But what if you were this is another way. If you're driving down the freeway and you were just thinking, oh my God, what if I get a flat tire? And then I might spin out and I have to turn this way and somebody might hit me. And oh my God. And I'm worried. And then I get to my destination and I never had a flat tire, but I wasted all that time in that fear mode when I could have been, I live in San Clemente, I could have been looking outside my window and thinking, wow, look there's the ocean, it's beautiful. And having a really good time. I could have been enjoying my ride instead of making it stressful for me by just thinking about all the what ifs that could happen. So knowing that all the things that we worry about, most of the time, there was a quote by Abraham Lincoln, I'm trying to remember what it was, but it's the same thing. It's like we have all this worry and anxiety, and most of the things that we worry about never really even happen. So I just want to kind of put that out there, that enjoy the ride instead of worrying about, I might get a flat tire or I might spin out here, and just enjoy the ride, and that's life. But I want to, I want to talk about, I want to share my number one, not 11, number one most effective tool for eliminating anxiety, worry, negative anticipation, that kind of thing. My number one tool is this. Most of us, the personal anguish that we have with worry, anxiety, etc., is because we have a certain movie going on in our head. For example, oh, I'm afraid I'm going to get fired, and then I won't have a job, and then I won't have anywhere to live. And so this is a movie going on. Now, it may be anything. It could be like, oh my gosh, is he going to, hey, Kara. Hi, Lisa. That's so cool. I love you guys. So you might have a movie going on in your mind. Let's say that you've got to talk to your boss about something. And it gets you all worried, and you think, well, what if they get mad at me and they yell at me? And you've got this movie going on. So your hesitation is like, you don't want to talk to them about it. But it might not ever happen. So what I want to say is, what I have found is that you've got to change the movie. Stop the movie. So, for example, if I were dwelling on, how am I going to pay my taxes this year? How am I going to do that? Oh my gosh, what if I don't have enough money? What if I don't work enough hours, and then I won't be able to pay it, and then they'll add interest to it, and oh my gosh, and then what if they repossess my car, and all this, the movie and then I go about doing something else, and then the movie comes back. Oh my God, the movie's back, and I feel that gut wrenching in my stomach, and I feel kind of nauseous. Oh my gosh, they're going to garnish my wages. The taxes, and then my husband's going to be so mad at me because of the tax. And all this movie is just going on, and you're feeling like crap. I want to say that you've got to stop the movie, meaning you've got to replace it. So you've got to replace what's happening in your mind. Maybe that means putting on some great music that makes you feel a little more uplifted. Maybe sometimes I'll turn on YouTube and like look at comedians or have it playing, so I get some kind of funny, different thing going on. One of my best things, though, is engaging with someone else on a topic that's completely unrelated. Don't go and complain to them about what you're worrying about, because that just keeps the movie going. Go and engage with them about them. Like, hey, how's it going today? Tell me about yourself. Get interested in somebody else. Get out of your own head. And so, what I've learned really is that we have our own self-imposed prison, which is created by our own thoughts. And if we can And sometimes we'll just stay there, and it just goes over and over and over. But what I've learned is that I'm the one that's in control. I have power to change my thoughts. I can decide, do I want to feel kind of crummy right now? And sometimes I do. Or do I want to change it up, change the movie? And then to anything that feels slightly better. So it could be, like I said, some music. It could be a conversation with a friend. It could be like YouTube, something that makes you feel laugh. Who inspires you? You know, going on TED Talk or YouTube and listening to someone who really inspires you. So get out of the rut. You know, don't stay there. You get to choose. Don't stay down in the mire. Now, sometimes things happen, and you kind of need to grieve, and that's different. That's different than just ruminating over something that may never happen, or something that happened in the past. And thinking, sometimes people get really focused on wanting to be right instead of happy. For example, thinking over, I knew he was going to do this. I knew he was going to leave me. I knew he was going to go out with that girl, whatever it is. I knew it. And so they dwell on being right instead of changing the movie so they can be happy. So the question is, do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? So I just want to reiterate my little points here. And that is that there are some natural remedies like meditation, yoga, herbal remedies like teas and massage and hydrotherapy, etc. And then remember the law of attraction. What you put your attention on, the universe, it's your prayer to the universe. So remember that. Think about what you're praying to the universe, and that's what will come back to you, is more of that feeling, not necessarily the same picture, but the feeling of anxiety, worry, loneliness, abandonment, whatever the negative emotion is. Let's see. Remember that most of the stuff we worry about never happens. So don't spend your time doing it or thinking about it. And then last one of my number one tool is change the movie. You're in control. Try to find one level up on the emotional scale. And if you're feeling depressed and down or anxious or worried, then just go up to feeling a little bit better, like not hopeless, and then a little bit better by feeling hopeful or that kind of thing. Watch a movie that makes you smile and laugh, a romantic comedy or something like that. And then I really want to say, be kind to yourself. So if you were watching a movie and the things that are happening in your life were happening to you, what would you want to happen to that person in the movie? Would you kick them? Probably not. You might want to make them feel better. You might want to say, hey, you're a good person. Love yourself. Everybody loves you. And stop beating yourself up. So think about that. Think about the movie that you might be watching, and this person is kind of being mean to themselves, thinking this a mean movie over and over in their head. They're hurt, and they really just need to be loved. So I want to say, love yourself. When you're feeling hurt, sad, anxious, fearful, somewhere in there you're hurt and you need some love. So love yourself. Just keep saying, that's another thing, is if you can't stop the movie, keep telling yourself, I love you, I love you, I love you, all is well. I'm safe and protected at this moment. I'm safe, I'm protected, I'm loved, and you need to heal you. Nobody else is going to do it for you. So love yourself and don't beat yourself up. If you're scared, worried, anxious, hey, Sierra. If you're scared, worried, anxious, don't be mean to that person by going over it and over and over and torturing yourself with these things that are worrying you and being in your own prison in your head. But use these tools to change it up so that you love yourself. You need to heal yourself, because that's what's happening, is you're hurt. And nobody's going to take care of that. And if you can just recognize that your worry, your fear, your anxiety is because somehow you're hurt. So you need to love yourself and stop the movie and get out of that stuff that's making you feel bad and make the decision. You have the power. You make the choice. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? So that's it. I know it's kind of intense. Jeez, I know I kind of rambled on, but I really feel like this is such an important issue. And we will definitely be uploading this on my Facebook, Lorri Walker Psychic Medium Healer, and maybe my website too at lorriwalker.com. And if you didn't get it live, I'm hoping that you'll share it with some others. Also, hey, I'm totally become addicted to Instagram and Facebook. So follow me, like me, talk to me. I'd love it. So anyway, I just want to send this with love to all of you who are listening and will listen in the future. And love yourself. Be good to yourself. So thanks for joining me. Have a great day.